Hi everyone. Again, thank you for your understanding about Sunday's video, but I did want to get this message out to you because I feel it's a very important and powerful message for you. So let's start like this. You know, they tell us we want to learn history in order to be able to avoid the same mistakes. But if you and I are honest with ourselves, we see that many times things repeat in our life. We have similar types of challenges in business, with relationships, with health issues, with family matters, with just the same old happening in the world around us. And so today I want to make sure that you and I grasp the Kabbalistic understanding, why things repeat, and what we can do about it. So let's just start to think about, and I ask you to think about some of the repetitive patterns that take place in your life. Things that you now, as you look back, yes, in many cases, it's different people, different situations, etc. But if you look at it now in reverse, you see it's the same issue. It's your fear, your anger, your insecurity, greed, ego, etc. that's come up in all those situations. So let's start with the idea that we often speak about, that the Creator gave us everything. You and I are completely filled with the infinite light of the Creator, which means we have all the resources from within us to have a completely blissful life. And everything you and I learn here on Spiritual Sunday, and that we learn in the Kabbalah Center, is how to make that manifest. Well, part of that is to understand that we don't always see our own blockages. Like Karen Berg, my teacher, says, why do they have mirrors? Why do we need a mirror to do our hair, our makeup, brush our teeth, whatever it may be? Because we cannot see our own face. And therefore, on a spiritual level, we often do not see our own mistakes. We do not see the things that are blocking us. Because every time we do a self-centered or what we call a reactive behavior, we basically put up a spiritual curtain that blocks the light of our soul from shining into our business, our health, our family life, the world around us. And at the same time, it dims, from our point of view, the light of the Creator. We don't see as clearly what's going on around us. So the Kabbalists have taught us that the universe, in helping us to do, as we call it, our tikkun process, correcting our reactive behaviors, transforming the ego, the greed, the fear, the insecurity, the guilt, and the shame, the universe is a perfect plan designed to help us with that. But how does it help us? It allows us, with the soul's support, our soul's support, to find ourselves in challenging situations like we just talked about. Over and over again, we see similar health issues, similar business issues, similar friendship issues, similar relationship issues. Things seem to be repeating again and again. Is really the universe reflecting back to us where we're blocked. We learn here it's not about the other person. It's not about who's delivering the message. It's about us taking advantage of the message that the universe is sending us so that we can experience a life of greater bliss and peace and harmony and happiness. That's the whole point. So, how does the universe help us? We find ourselves in challenging situations. Part of what the opponent does, though, is he makes us not see the pattern. Why? Because what about relationships? I'm sure we've all had a series of relationships that didn't work out, did we not? But you first get in that relationship, it's amazing and wonderful. Then weeks, months, a year later, something happens, and that's not it. We run away from that relationship. But we tend to run into the same person in a different body. It's like the joke. An airhead, and I hope you all understand an airhead comes to the doctor and says, "Doctor, every part of their body is in pain." And the doctor thinks, that's very unusual. Show me. So the airhead takes the finger, touches here, ow, 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 touches all parts of their body, and it's painful. So the doctor looks, checks them out, and says, no. It's not the body. Your finger is broken. And therefore, everywhere you touch, there's pain. So for us, that's the opponent's job. Make us believe that no, that was that person, this was in that job, everything was separate and fragmented. You and I are learning there's one common factor to all of those repetitive patterns. Us. One person who's in common in all those challenging situations. Us. So the beauty of what Kabbalah is offering us and what we teach here in the center is consciousness is everything. If I change my consciousness and therefore my behavior, my life will be better. I can make my life better because it's in my hands. Not what happens to me, but it's how I respond that will determine my destiny. And so now let's start realizing that yes, from our point of view, every challenge is an opportunity to understand about ourselves where we are hiding the next blessing in our life, where we're hiding that light of the Creator that is the source and the only source of lasting fulfillment. And every morning when we wake up, what are we asking the universe? More blessing. And therefore, if we're asking more blessing and it's hidden inside those shells of our previous reactive, self-centered behavior, then the universe has to deliver that package that looks on the outside like greed, anger, jealousy, fear, insecurity, but on the inside is the light of peace, love, security, trust, prosperity, protection, etc. And that's why we learn in the center we have to face challenges. And what we're learning here is how to voluntarily run after my negative behavior so that I can transform it on my terms and have a better life under more merciful conditions. Like a wound, right? Like we said with the joke. If I have a wound, then many people in situations can come and touch that wound and make me feel angry, hurt, jealous, reactive. As I'll heal the wound, then people can come along and touch that finger, that wound, doesn't bother me at all. That's what we're learning to strive for. That's what we're doing here in the center. So now let's start thinking about how is it that, okay, we see ourselves, even though we're spiritual and we're growing, how do we find ourselves in those same repetitive patterns? Because we get in that same repetitive routine. We are in essence asleep. We're spiritually asleep. We've fallen into sort of that rut. Things are okay, I go to work, I do my thing, I be with my family, I come home, watch a little TV, whatever, study some books, etc., go to sleep and start again. And so we do things so routinely, we're not even aware. And as we say every Sunday, consciousness is everything. So if we fall asleep spiritually, then we're in the same rut. And so that wound is not being healed, and therefore a little too long line in the store makes us upset. The guy who doesn't go through the yellow light when we're in a rush, so we can go through the intersection, pushes the wound. And all sorts of things will push that wound. So let's start waking up and realize, no, it's about me being asleep, me falling into that rut. As some people will say, oh, I've been doing XYZ for so long, I could do it in my sleep. And my teachers, the Rav and Karen Berg, have often said, that's how many people, most of the people in the world, operate their life. As if they're asleep, even though they're doing their job and they're doing it well, even though they're with their families and they're there with their family, but their consciousness is just the same old, same old. And so we find ourselves in that rut. So the thing we need to do is start snapping out of that rut. We need to start waking up and realize, I don't want to let the opponent, that force of opposition that's the spiritual parasite in my head, put in my head, Chaim, it's okay. If it's not broken, you don't have to fix it. No, I want to wake up every day and push myself to the next level. How many of you do something in your life, whether it's in your business, with your health, with your family, you want more out of those areas of your life, so you're willing to push yourself to do a little more exercise, to make a greater effort with your relationship, to put more effort into your health, your children, your friends, etc., because you want to maintain and grow better relationships, a greater sense of peace and harmony. So ask yourself, as I ask them here, are you here on Sunday? In your case, are you watching us online just because that's what you do on Sunday? As a matter of rote, then you can only get what you've raised your level of consciousness up to. So if you want more from these messages, and you want more from what you hear and learn here on Spiritual Sunday in the Kabbalah Center, you have to be more and more conscious. As I told them in the room, you come here, you're sitting in the same seat. Is it automatic? You just take my seat and you sit there, then you're in a rut. and things will not grow. So we want to do things differently. I've had already a couple people tell me, since Sunday, I've already brushed my teeth a little differently. I drive to work in a little different way. I put more consciousness. Be in the present. Don't think about what's going to happen tomorrow at work while you're with your family and friends or you're doing some study or whatever else. Don't think about what happened in the past, what mistakes you made, etc., when you're with family or friends or you're studying or you're doing something. Be in the now, because that's the only time the light exists, is in the now. It's the only time we can truly transform our lives to make the future better. But it's all in the now. So we want to wake up out of our spiritual slumber and remember, everything is cause and effect. Everything. And therefore, what I do in response to anything happens to me determines my destiny. The Creator put 100%. It's available and accessible. All we have to do is let it out. But if we're asleep, we're not consciously thinking, even as you're listening to this message, are you falling into just the message, or are you thinking, I'm also channeling this light and this blessing out to the entire world? I want everybody to have a spiritual awakening. So I become a conduit. I'm receiving in the message and I'm sharing it out to the world, even as I'm listening, learning, and growing. So today is the day to start waking up, because according to the Kabbalist, it says like this: He, God, renews His goodness every day continually, the act of creation. Meaning every day the universe is fresh and new. We decide, is it the same old, if I brought the same thing from yesterday, the same attitude, the same perspective, then today will be the same. And for a lot of us, it's okay. But we're not here just to have okay, we're here to have amazing. We're here to have our 100% bliss, peace, harmony, joy, peace on earth. So every day we have the opportunity to refresh ourselves, wake up our consciousness, realize, am I falling into the rut? Even a good thing. So you do nice things for your family, you do your job well at work, but it's robotic and that same routine, then nothing grew. So you can be okay at work and your boss is happy with your job, but remember, light goes beyond our job. It goes beyond our family. It goes beyond our house, our car. The light is every facet of life, everything. So the more we're letting more light shine from us, the more we refresh ourselves every day and awaken that consciousness. I desire more, so I have to share more. I want more money, I've got to share more money. I want more love, I've got to share more love. So I have to be conscious. I want more forgiveness and tolerance from people. I have to share more forgiveness and tolerance. Let's realize the universe works 100% cause and effect, and that the universe is waiting. It's up to us to decide which level of life, because the Creator's universe has it all. Every road, every possibility, etc. exists. But like driving our car, the roads already exist. We decide the route. We can take the long route, we can take the short route. It's our choice. But all the pathways already exist. So we've got to start waking up and realize, as the old saying says, today is the first day of the rest of my life. So you and I are determining, do we make it the same old by bringing all the past garbage with us? Or do we wake up and say, no, today, whatever happened in the past, I'm going to fix it. I'm going to forgive those people. I'm going to apologize for what I did. I'm going to give what I didn't give. I'm going to help in the ways I didn't help. I'm going to do the things to correct that. So today, my life is better, which plants seeds for the future. Today is the day you and I decide, and collectively we can decide for the world. Because that's who we are here in the Kabbalah Center. We are deciding for the world because we keep the entire world in our consciousness. So today, as you hear this message, think of the ways and means that you can share outside your comfort zone, share outside the familiar, share beyond the routine. No matter how amazing you are at this moment, I believe that the Creator put more blessing and more goodness inside you than you're experiencing right now. And so I want you to have it all. But in order to have it all, you and I and everybody who hears these messages has to wake up, realize that everything is in our hands, the world is fresh and new, and we can decide that the destiny of us is new, is peaceful, is harmonious, is loving. The more of us who gather together, the faster we'll be able to see that for the entire world. So God bless you, but I want to read to you also. This I read, it was very moving. I received this letter, this message on Facebook from this gentleman. And if you could see the video, you see it was a little difficult because it's very emotional. So this gentleman writes, I wanted to say thank you. Thank you for doing what you do and bringing light so that others like myself can recognize it in themselves. 3 years ago, this April 27th, he says, I lost my 2.5-year-old daughter to sudden illness. Her name was Nicole. Her mom and I were lost, shaken to our core. We spent 4 months in Northern California to create distance from life, searching for a new way to keep moving forward. But we did not find it in nature. Eventually, we drove back to LA and attempted to live on. The darkness seemed to overwhelm us. We separated after 2 months. I stopped sleeping except for a few hours a week. I could only eat a small portion of a meal, 2 or 3 bites, every 3 or 4 days. I lost 50 pounds in less than 2 months. Subconsciously, I had surrendered. Without planning it, I began to say goodbye to a handful of people the night before I planned to leave the world. A thought had come to me. Why did I have to experience this? I'm not a religious person. I had no spiritual answer for this. How could my little girl, so pure, with only love and greatest joy in life, be taken away? What if there was a purpose I could not know or see? Am I supposed to do something with this that is bigger than both of us? Had it happened before, possibly in a past life? Did I waste it in the past, and that forced her to make the same sacrifice again? I often said to myself and others that it feels like I've known my daughter from somewhere before, as if we knew each other forever. So with my last effort to live, and fear of a reality that I had no idea if I could exist, I prayed. And with tears streaming down my face, I begged to be shown the next step, the first step out of this darkness. I asked only for that and not for the destination. If there was a chance that there was something bigger happening, then take me for that purpose, I surrender. Just show me now, because I cannot go on another day. I wiped my face dry. I grabbed the television remote in the hotel I was in, and turning it on, I saw you. I saw you, Chaim Solomon, on JLTV. I'd never heard of it. The lesson you covered was about the map of reality, the creator and the created, corporal reality and the golden coin. I watched the lesson and felt lifted up. I sought out the Los Angeles Kabbalah Center and joined the basic class that started in 2 days. I have found a way to live. Thank you for your part in this. This is why we do what we do. This is why we're spreading the message, and this is why we do. And I understand we ask your support, financially, telling people, spreading these videos around. But if we can affect, just by spreading this wisdom, more people like this, isn't it worth it? Isn't it worth sharing a little bit more, donating a little bit more? Help us spread the Zohar, help us spread this wisdom of Kabbalah to the masses. And we'll be able to hear millions of stories like this one, people whose lives are saved. In the 32 years I've been doing this, I've probably heard thousands and thousands of stories similar to this. But there's 7.5 billion people on the planet. It simply requires each and every one of you who feel you're deriving some benefit from this to just turn around, share it with others, push on Facebook, push the share, let it go on your timeline that others can see it. Go on the Facebook page of Spiritual Sunday, make a donation. And if I could even ask of you, make recurring donations. Just sign up for that, whatever you're capable to do. But everything not only helps, But as more of us get on that recurring donation, it adds energy. The same way gathering together as we do here on Sunday, as the energy increases, we draw more and more people. And that's all it takes. We have the answer, we have the solution. The Zohar and this wisdom will touch the heart and soul of every person, helping them to have a better life, be a better Jew, Christian, Muslim, Buddhist, Hindu, whatever we are, to live to our 100% and be united with others. So thank you for letting me share this with you. I look forward to seeing you this Sunday, and have a marvelous, marvelous evening, day, night, afternoon, and God bless you all.